Okay. So what's the situation here? What are your thoughts? What's going on?
And like the matchup or like
Yeah, like what are you looking for in the lesson right now? Like,
um
what are your issues with the matchup? What's happening to you?
oh sure. So like obviously like every most net play Falcos I kind of just destroy, but mostly it's because they're terrible. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it builds a lot of bad habits in this matchup for me
Mm-hmm.
because
That makes a lot of
when
sense.
when I get like, and I feel the same way with Marth the more I think about it. Like Marth, like net play Marth, I can just run over and like I don't have to camp. And then I get in tournament and I play a Marth that knows how to really zero to death Peach, or not zero to death, but like
Yeah, I know what you
kill
mean.
me really quick. And it just builds these really bad habits. And I think they show in this set, particularly game two, which was a lot closer. It's like
Okay.
last hit.
Um,
Um,
what was our
this is
last
four
lesson?
for
Was
Craig.
that Peach Marth?
Yeah,
Okay. Just making sure.
you're good.
Okay. So you just sort of feel like you have some bad habits and you kind of want to get rid of those.
For sure. And I just feel like I'm missing something. I don't know.
So do you feel like you're trying to approach Falco and you can't? Do you feel like you're getting locked down?
Um, I, I guess lockdown is a good word.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my float heights get really, really predictable,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get called out really easily.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble like distinguishing what position on stage is good to float at what time. I
Okay, that
kind of
makes
I
sense.
kind of just pick a spot and hope the lasers miss, if that
Okay.
makes sense. Um, but that usually works in like unranked.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 4 for Cray also.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what is your mentality against Falco? Like what is your game plan?
Um, well, I need to be neutral is mostly in the air because I feel like if I'm close to Falco, I can be on the ground because the reward's worth it. But if there's a good amount of distance between us, I always feel like I need to be floating or certain, not at the same height or at a height that's tough for Falco to reach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Shield's obviously like stupid broken in this matchup. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you get both. I feel like both characters get a lot out of Shield. Um, on the ground. I'm definitely still really intimidated by good down airs by Falco,
Mm-hmm.
and they make me panic really easily once like a Falco gets cooking or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's check out and see what happens.
For sure.
Okay, that was good. Um, it's a pretty small detail, but I think down throw is a lot better here.
Really?
Well, you're not gonna. It puts him in the corner tech chase because he
Mm-hmm.
can't di away tech away here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a guaranteed follow up off of this tech chase. Like you can reaction tech chase the down throw here.
Okay.
Whereas off the up throw, you don't actually have anything. Like if
For
you look,
sure.
like there's no way for you to hit this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have just gotten shield drop down there or anything.
For sure.
So that's a really small detail, but I just thought I'd mention it. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a couple things. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. I was like, please go for the back air. You like hesitated for a second, and I was just like, no,
Yeah.
just you just instantly go for the second back air there every time, like this, and then just immediately
Yeah,
drop
for
at the
sure.
back air.
I
But
didn't think I had my jump, so I thought I had the trade.
oh, okay, no, that makes sense.
I thought I
Okay,
heard the Peach jump
if you
noise.
thought if you okay, that's actually really good then by you. If you thought you had jumped. Hmm. Okay, that was good. Good. Okay. Yeah, I like to do the back air dash attack there, but you almost had it. Like if this whiffs, just you can usually dash attack right here.
Yeah.
And yet here you so like okay, so this is kind of a weird matchup for Peach, where Peach usually doesn't have a lot of options But in this matchup in particular, like, Peach becomes like an extremely one-dimensional character, and she's pretty strong. But in the matchup, like, it's not that bad for her. Like, it's definitely a good matchup for Falco, but it doesn't feel like one of Peach's worst matchups from the Peach end. It just feels frustrating, because you're like trying all these different options and none of them seem to work. And the reason for that is that there are a few options that are very good and those do work, and none of your other options work. And so the way to play neutral in the matchup is to focus exclusively on the few options that work and try to like navigate through the matchup using only those options.
For sure.
So for instance, like this float height, there's a float height that is slightly higher than this, where the highest laser won't hit you, like one frame later, like right here. Okay. And you almost always want to use that float height.
Okay.
Because the only way for him to shoot a laser at this height is to jump up really high. And when he jumps up really high, you get free space. Like, there's absolutely no way he can challenge the float height that's slightly higher than this with any sort of laser, like, at all. His lasers completely stop working if you use the right float height.
All right.
Because, yeah, so, like, he's completely forced to go up to the platform and then waveland off laser or something like that, and all that stuff just gives you free space to go to center. And then, so yeah, so you mostly have the float height down. You just want to make sure to always hit like the correct height.
For sure.
It's very, very important, because if you hit any other height but the correct height, you're either too high up and you're sticking over the platform, and then he just goes up and he lasers right here, and then, or like, it's still not bad to go a little high. Like, I would rather you go a little bit high than a little bit low. But it's still, you're more vulnerable because you're like really poking out from the platform. And it's a lot easier for him to do like a low laser on a platform and hit you out of it.
Can you point your mouse like where you want the dress to be, like the bottom of the dress?
Yeah, let me just go into Dolphin. Oh, it's because this is open. Let's see. So Falco's highest laser is that one.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be like here, or like you can kind of like I usually err a little bit on the side of going a little over. Like I'll go here. Just because that way I know for sure that the lasers won't hit me. So I'll usually do this one.
Okay, cool.
But
sorry, I just want to be sure.
Huh? No. That's totally fine. But yeah, you just want to. Usually it's okay to err a little bit on the higher side because you don't want to get lasered, but you don't want to go too high because it just makes it too easy to hit you through the platform. On this type of opening, you always want to get to the ground against Falco. Like, controlling the ground is I'm not going to say the most important, but it's like super, super important. So like going up here and trying to go up to this spot already starts the match at a disadvantage. And actually, like, going high against Falco in general is just really, really bad. And I saw you do that a few times, and I was kind of noting it so far, where like you'll be in a situation where like Falco's here and you'll try to go like here or something, and it just doesn't work because he has such a good vertical movement. So the way to sort of play this matchup, which is pretty simple, is you use shield and you use float to deal with lasers. And your goal is to completely invalidate the lasers using shield, like power shield and float, and just shield and wave dash out in general. You want to close the space and then do unreactable mix-ups once you're close to Falco. That is the matchup. It doesn't change. That is it. That literally just happens over and over. That's the whole matchup. And you don't want to overcommit when you get into the range. It's really tempting when you spend 30 seconds crossing the stage arduously to get over to Falco, and he jumps away and you can't chase him and he goes the other side, and you spend another 15 seconds crossing back over. It's really tempting that, like, right when you get in range of the Falco, that you hit him. But you don't want to... You still have to be patient even when you get close, and that's the really hard part because you put in so much effort chasing him. But basically, neutral game begins when you get close enough to him, and outside of that window, your goal is, if you're ahead, you should literally just wait for him, and if you're behind or even, you're chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
So going for stuff like this is, like, okay, but this is really greedy. This is like the anti-noob Falco stuff, like this Nair, where, like, a really bad Falco will just, like, jump up and laser or something here. But the idea is that, like, you have gotten into this range, but you're not on the ground yet, so you can't really do, like, the majority of your mix-ups. So, honestly, if I'm in this situation, I consider this a very bad position. I would probably do the Nair and then just fast fall, like, right here and try to just not approach too hard. But he gets out of your way, and so you're okay. But so shield is super, super good in this matchup, but it's also really dangerous because if you shield a laser at close range, you're in just this really, really bad spot. And I would say that, like, if you shield a laser up close, it's almost better to just roll away and, like, just sort of give up. Like, it's very weird because you're trying to set up these very simple situations, but just the most important thing to keep in mind is that there are very specific positions that work where Peach has good mix-ups. Outside of those positions, you really can't do anything, and so if you're setting up for your perfect little mix-up position and something goes wrong, just reset. Like, this is naturally a pretty slow matchup. And so trying to force openings or whatever usually works out pretty bad for Peach. Okay, so there's this part. That was pretty good. You can go for stuff like this. I think if you're gonna go for moves like this, like to commit to go up to the platform, you really want it to have, like, a big win condition. Like, if you had done an up air here instead, because then, you know, if he DIs in, you have a chance to set up, like, a combo into an edge guard, and if he DIs out, he's at least off stage. Whereas, like, going for this in this situation isn't very good because it puts Peach on the platform. Like, basically, Falco has, like, the best vertical in the game, and Peach has, like, the worst out of all the top tiers. And so you have to be super aware of that at all times, that, like, any vertical movement, like going up, is a really big commitment on coming down, unless you're floating at, like, this height, because it's really hard for Falco to punish that. But if you actually end up here, this is, like, you can probably feel it. Like, this is really, really rough. There are not, like, you're worried about the shield poke, you're worried about the shield poke foremost, and you're worried about he can drop off down air, you might fall off the platform, and then he'll shine you. Like, there's a lot of things that can go wrong just by the fact that you got onto the platform. This is a position where you don't really want to do this against Falco, because this is the situation where Falco really wants. Like, when you're in this position and you end up here, this is like prime Peach actual mix-up territory, where, like, you kind of just have to, like, choose an option. You can, based on kind of what the Falco is doing, like, let's say you could crouch here, and then if he comes in with the laser, you have a lot less lag on the laser, you might be able to do a mix-up after that. So it's kind of like, when he's close enough for your dash attack to hit and for you to kind of do mix-ups, you sort of want to hold your ground a lot more. Retreating doesn't help you as much as it helps Falco, because most of the match you spend trying to get over to Falco. So if Falco is going to come to you, you need to be down to fight it out, even if you're in the corner, because you have down smash as a threat. and he doesn't have any moves that are gonna like gimp you really out of the corner like too often. So most of the time you're fairly comfortable fighting out of the corner because most of the time he'll just like forward smash you or something, and then you just go up high and you go really really high and you float back and then you're fine. And yeah, stuff like this is like that same situation again, where you make it back. This is good. You shield. That's really good. I don't think wave dashing back into the corner here serves any value because you are now in this position, and this is actual Peach mix-up territory. Like when Peach is close, she kind of beats up every character in the game. Like, I don't think there is a character that really just like, oh, you're close to Peach? Good for you, because no, she has down smash, she has nair, dash attack, she has all kinds of things when you're really, she has grab, all kinds of things when you're really close to her. And so when you're in these situations, you have to be a lot more comfortable to go for like, the thing is, you don't need to go for super aggressive mix-ups, but you know, you can dash in, dash back, and try to bait their auto-cancel back air. You can dash in shield. You can, what else can you do here? You can try to wave dash down and then play neutral, like wave dash down crouch and play neutral from there. But what you don't want to do is give up the space, because this, like, if you actually think about like the situations that you're creating, like, okay, you're in this spot. This is not bad for you. This doesn't get any better for you. The wave dash back into the corner is good only when you're really sure that Falco is about to aerial right here. And he's not in a position to do that. He would have to be like over here, and he's like dash dancing and he lasers in place like 3 times, and then he dashes in and you think he's gonna like down air here. Maybe you can wave dash back. I still don't think it's that good. But like if you have a hard read on them approaching aerialing right here, then the wave dash back down smash is good. But otherwise, you do not want to give up space here. And then obviously, do not go high. Continue fighting from the low position here. Like, it's okay to, it's like the lasers feel really bad, but if you get really good at power shielding and crouching, then they're not that bad. So like if you see like a laser like this, and you really don't want to shield this, like you don't want to run and shield because it sets up for like his mix-ups right here. And like if you're too close, like I said, like if you're too close up to him and you shield a laser, it's kind of not really good, and you normally have to just like roll afterward or something. But if he's shooting lasers and you're kind of at this range, going high when you're in the corner is not very good because he has all this platform space. He can like super defend. I think the best option here is probably crouch. It'll get over these high lasers, which he's shooting to prevent your jump. And if he shoots a low laser, then you still CC it. And if he keeps shooting low lasers, then you can float over them. So you have to kind of play the mix-up here between high and low laser. But if you crouch, it does a pretty good job of like dealing with both of them. Because if you know, like if you CC a laser, it's gonna do a bunch less of stun, or like less hit lag, less stun. So you does it do less stun? It might not do less stun, but it does less hit lag. See, regardless, you have less lag out of it. I don't remember the exact frames, but you have less lag out of the laser if you crouch there. So crouching, going like staying low and sort of just grounding yourself should feel more comfortable than going up against Falco. Like when you're up in the air, you should feel kind of like you're kind of hanging and kind of like, like I'm kind of like sitting up here kind of vulnerable, like I can get like kind of, you know, sniped out of the air. Whereas when you're on the ground, you should feel like I have my shield, I have my crouch, I have my wave dash movement, I have my dash attack. If Falco tries to kind of pressure me, I can dash in and dash attack him. So you have ways to sort of fight, whereas when you're in the air, you're kind of like a sitting duck. Also, thank you, Fornia, for the tier 1 sub. Okay. What are your thoughts so far? You haven't said too much.
Yes, sorry.
No, you're good.
So that using crouch in that situation for lasers, is that much more like in the corner under platform, or is that just when I'm close to Falco in general?
Well, I think that when you are more in center stage or something like that, or like if he's in the corner, I think floating. Well, if you're close to him, okay, let's see. It's a little complicated, I guess. So it depends on what heights of lasers he's shooting. I think the crouch is really good for information gathering because you can see if he was trying to laser high to catch your jump. And if he lasers low, you have some good options out of the crouched laser. I don't think that, like, running at Falco specifically... Like, you shouldn't be, like, running at him for the purpose of crouching. But if you end up in a spot where you feel like you need to either shield or run away, and you feel like if you jump, you're kind of going to be stuck up in the air, then you kind of want to crouch. I would say it's a solid mix-up.
Okay.
It's not something you want to do every time, but it's something, and especially when you're in the corner in those spots, it's really, really good.
Okay, that answers my question.
So, that maybe not the perfect explanation, but when it comes up again, we'll point it out, like, oh, this would have been a good crouch spot or whatever.
For sure.
But that was a good question. And yeah, let's see, what do you do here? So you go up here. Yeah, this is okay. I'm not really sure what I think is the best thing to do against Falco and invincibility here. I think this worked out. It's fine. I kind of go back and forth of what I think is the best option. And yeah, wait, why did you die here? So, when... This is Peach's... One of Peach's only strengths is living a really, really long time. And so, whenever you are at high percent, you should try to slow down the match a lot. Like, instead of going for big openings, it's best to just sort of make it really frustrating for Falco to, like, get a good hit on you. And just sort of slowly over time look for an opening, because, yeah, if he jumps and you ever read him and you just hit a dash attack, he might just lose, like, a whole second stock. Off and you're still at 141, and then he comes back and maybe he's invincible and he back airs you and you still live and you just slowly float back, and it starts feeling really like a grind for the other player. And that's a lot more what you want rather than sort of like going for stuff like that. Like going for the grab there.
Maintaining my lead a little more.
Yeah, just try to, like, if you're at high percent and you get a stock up, I would suggest your goal should be see how, as like a training method, you know, see how long you can keep your stock, like literally time-wise.
Okay, cool.
And so it's like, you shouldn't really be running away on the platforms, he'll snipe you, but you can kind of be on the ground, just make it really, like, annoying, like, oh, I'm totally gonna hit you, Falco, oh, you better kind of space more carefully. You want to get him really careful and just sort of drag it out, and you have a higher chance of getting an opening there. Okay, that was good. Yeah, there's this. Okay. Yeah, slightly too low float height, you get caught. Oh, this is really good, except single jab. Single jab is what you want to do here.
Okay, cool.
Because it sets up really cleanly for jab grab, which sets up for everything. Like, if you had if you'd done a single jab here, it's so difficult for Falco to actually avoid the jab grab. And if he, you know, SDI's up and he pops out, then you just dash back and he drops, you dash in, dash attack, or all kinds of things out of the single jab there. The double jab is kind of not really useful. And jabbing Falco out of his approaches is something you guys should keep in mind in general. It's very, very good. I guess you tried to dash attack here, I'm guessing?
No, I honestly thought they were gonna down air in, and I was just like,
okay. I mean, it worked out really well. If you meant to do that on purpose, good for you. Yeah, and like a lot of times, fair is actually not that good here. You definitely want to nair, because the hitbox is just a lot more like beefy kind of, and you're not gonna like have this thing with fair where like he hits you while it's coming out. The nair is so fast, you just throw out the nair or a back air here, and like if you're facing towards the stage, you back air. If you're facing out, you nair a lot of times, but you can kind of nair no matter what, and like you'll probably hit him, and if you don't, then you're still in good shape. Whereas like the fair is very like Fair is when you know someone's gonna be somewhere, or you're doing a mix-up where you're like, I'm gonna nair, and then they shield, and then you do the fair, and then you set up for like a better pressure or something like that. Or you know they're up being and you just aim the fair right for them. It's not really good for situations like this where you're trying to like catch Falco out of like side B and stuff like that. It's really not gonna see like yeah, here this fair is great. This fair is good. This fair is really good. It's sad you missed it, but the idea of this fair was really good. The double jab here is okay, but remember single jab to grab and stuff like that, or even like single jab down smash is really good. Because a lot of times...
I always double jab. It's a really bad habit.
Yeah, I fully understand. I had that as a really bad habit for a long time playing Peach. But the thing with Falco is like single jab is like... I love this pose. But the single she's just like but the single jab against Falco is like so ridiculously good that like if you start using it a lot more, you're really going to like find really good ways to use it. Like let's say Falco, like you're standing and then, or like let's say you're crouching and then Falco jumps at you and he's like threatening the down air, right? But then he's gonna laser, and you see that he's gonna laser, and you just happen to react to it or read it or something, you can just jab grab him out of it like almost every time. And a lot of times, even when Falco like down airs at you, you can actually jab him out of the down air in a lot of positions. And especially at like low percents or something like that, you can like jab and like trade, or jab and it'll just straight up beat the down air. It's actually kind of crazy how good the jab is against Falco, but only if you single jab, because that leads into your stuff. And yeah, this is so... I have, like, really bad memories of doing this against Falco. Like, when you're here, and you're like, I gotta get out of here, and you jump up here, and it's just, your life is over. you have nothing here. You've given up. Yeah. Just basically air dodge off stage and die when you're right here. It's just such a bad position. You have to, as scary as it is, remember that, like, for Falco to commit and actually hit you with things that aren't lasers, he has to risk getting hit by you.
And that's, like...
If you're on the ground, or close to the ground. If you're up here, he can hit you without any risk. He can just dash dance back air, clip you on the way by, he can jump shine, double jump out, and you have literally no punishes. But if you're here and you're kind of close to the ground, if he tries to down air, if he tries to dash attack, if he tries to shine, if he tries to do anything, he is putting himself in a range where you can actually fight him and hit him. So what happens here? You shield this laser. This is another spot where I think the crouch is better, or just even taking laser, because the shield, like the shield is better when you're trying to sort of, like, let's say Falco's over here and he's kind of like, you gotta come to me, you know? And then every laser you get like a power shield attempt or something. Then the shield is pretty good. But when you're at this range, he has a really good chance, if you shield, of kind of trapping you in that awful like shield. Like he's lasering over and over right here or something, and you're just kind of miserable and stuck. And you can roll out here, but then you're kind of stuck in the corner, and it's just be really careful with like your shield. The shield is really good at super close range because he'll do early aerials, and it's really good at super long range, but at that kind of middle range where he can set up for more lasers right here, it's kind of not super great. I think this jump is not bad. Like, doing this jump into this float is not bad, but you get caught on the platform, which is the only problem. If I was right here, I would just straight up go down. Like, I would literally just, I would be like, okay, yeah, I got caught in a bad spot. I would just run off to here and then try to play the mix-up game from there. Because, like how you said, like, most of the matchup happens in the air. That is, like, the exact opposite of what happens. Your goal is to make as little of the matchup as possible occur in the air. You want the whole game to happen on the ground. Oh, come on, yeah, you gotta be... This is a consequence of you being too scared. When you're, like, right here, this is, like, prime, like, beat up
Yeah.
Falco territory. When you finally get this close, your mentality should be like, you better full hop and get out of here, Falco, because the pain is on its way.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to be ready. So if he whiffs like this dash attack like this, you have to be. This is, and obviously, like looking at it now, you're like, well, duh, I should have whiff punished this, right? But like, even outside of the fact that he does this dumb dash attack, you should be ready to fight here.
For sure.
Like, let's assume he didn't do this. You need to be ready to actually fight there because you have center. You're close to him. Doing these, there's nothing wrong with doing these back airs because you're trying to beat his approaching short hops. These are fine. I think you overcommit on the spacing a little bit. You kind of want to like poke in with it and then like go back because you're overcommitting a little too much. Oh, and that he gets you for it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, doing these is fine to catch the approaching laser or approaching aerial, but you just kept holding in, and that was the bad part. If you had just held a little bit back, then right after this laser, you immediately fast fall, and now you're in this great, like, right next to Falco. You know, you dash up shield, dash up nair, dash attack, dash dance in his face. You have all these kinds of scary options for him. And it's funny, I wanted to talk a lot more about like the close-up mix-ups, but you actually haven't gotten into almost any of them, which is sort of indicative of like that is kind of the missing piece of like what you should be doing. Because like when I'm analyzing like kind of like what I do in this matchup or like some other Peach player who's like a pro, I'll look and be like, I'll start looking at all the little micros. Okay, so Peach gets close. It's kind of like it just sort of happens already. Like, you look, okay, so they're fighting, they're doing all this dumb positional stuff. Peach finally gets close to Falco, then the mix-up happens. But, like, those aren't really happening for you. And that's sort of just the consequence of, like, if you don't know that is what you have to be doing over and over every time, it's very easy to, you know, start going to plats, start trying to play in the air, and just, like, you never get into the positions where you can actually fight the character. So you just end up feeling helpless at all times. And I definitely went through that as Peach also. Yeah, this is when you get a tech chase like this. Always just cover roll in. If he does regular get up or rolls out or anything like that, like yeah, like I think like basically like what I think you can do here is you can get kind of close like right here, and if he rolls in, you can actually cover it with down smash. Like I would just run in and crouch right here.
That's a good idea.
If you don't have time for the run in and crouch, I would just literally like wait around here, this area, and just see what he does, because, you know, there's no way for him to avoid your dash attack at all. Like, no matter if he techs away, techs in place, miss-techs, all of those will die to dash attack. And if he techs in, you just have to be incredibly ready. Like, this is, like, tech in is the one tech he should never get away with. Like, all of his other techs, he might get away with every now and then if you mess up. This one should never. This should be your number one priority, is to never let this happen, ever. Right. And so running in and shielding here is just not a good plan. So, but yeah, you get to this. Yeah, so you get here. You just need to be able to recognize. So you're here. You're running at Falco, which is good. This is what you should be doing here. He full hops. You see this. You go to here. There's not really a point for this fair. You like. There's not too much lag on it, so you're fine. But I guess you probably should have just shielded right here. You tried to roll. This is a close call. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You did try to roll there. You were just slightly slow, so it happens. The fair doesn't really serve a purpose, but it also wasn't what actually put you behind. Okay. So now, so look. We finally get like an actual situation in the matchup. So what was this wave dash in for? What was this supposed to do?
Can I see the situation again?
Yes.
Like a few seconds.
So he's here. He comes down like this, and you wave dash in. What was this gonna cover? Or what were you thinking that Falco was gonna do?
I think down air. I thought down air was just gonna come, and I was gonna either outspeed. I thought I could get a down smash. Probably.
So like where did you think he was gonna down air?
Like I thought he shield drop lasered. I think I thought because that's how he killed me that last time with that down air. I thought he was just gonna do it again, just shield drop down air right on top of me.
So you were gonna wave dash and down smash?
I thought he was gonna down air like behind me, but
So one small detail is that if you CC Falco's down air at 0, he doesn't have anything he can do. Like, it just doesn't work at 0. So, like, a lot of times if you CC it at 0, you can shield and then grab him out of something, or even, like, if you slightly move out of the way, you can just SDI the down air away. And, I guess you're not going to get a CC at that percent, but if you hold down and he down airs and he doesn't land right on top of you, you'll just get a free down smash. Yeah, I guess this wave dash is just wave dash is like a very committal movement, and I don't recommend doing it when it doesn't have like a sort of guaranteed use. Like dash wave dash is really good as Peach to like cover space to like approach, but sort of doing it when you're in a situation, like basically doing it in any situation where like combat is about to occur is like not good usually, because look at all these frames that like you're just completely stuck, and like he literally hits you out of like your wave dash stun. So it doesn't really matter what you do here, but you don't want to commit to like a wave dash like that. Be very careful when you wave dash in combat. Oh, yeah, and then this is like, so you have him in the corner. This is very good. This is super greedy, though. Like, you're just execution testing his ledge dash, and it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, you can, but if you're playing a good player, you're just going to get shined here and lose. So here you just let him ledge dash, maintain corner pressure. You're setting up a classic Peach versus Falco grounded mix-up, close range. So if you just let him ledge dash, you're now right here. His invincibility runs out, and you have a good mix-up here. That's basically it. And if he like ledge dashes and full hops, then you can start like, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing, and then I'll full hop up here, read the full hop maybe, or there's ways to deal with it. But like the first thing to do is don't just like if you hit this, like you don't learn anything,
Yeah.
Like
I think it's also another bad habit because I'm always trying to cover double laser because I'm always like, it's another thing from unranked. Like
what you can do is if you get into this range right here and he double lasers, a lot of times you can actually dash attack it.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a way to deal with that. Like you can react to it and just dash attack it. So sort of taking this space is significantly better than like committing this far.
Sure.
Okay. So this is always a rough one. Okay, now I'm happy because like actual Peach Falco situations are happening more, so it's a more like opportunity to be like instructive. So he goes for this. You go for this. Yeah, so the problem with coming in immediately after this is a lot of times Falcos will do this down air, and then they immediately up tilt. So that if you float in, this up tilt hits you. This is like a really, really common pattern. Okay, I'll tell you the counter play to what he does here. So he can either up tilt here or short hop back air. The counterplay to both of those things is a float forward air right here. That is like what happens here. Right, cool. Is Falco does the cross up down air, Peach floats right here, his back air and his up tilt don't hit, Peach's forward air is coming, he has to deal with that, and he can't deal with it by preemptively just landing and up tilting, which is like what covers like this instantly floating in here thing. So I would say that the float fair here is like generally like what you want to do out of that, but then because of that you can mix in other things. You can like float in air in place, and then do a dash attack. You can float just a low float, wait for his option, and then like land and down smash and something like that. But generally when he's here, he feels pressure that you are going to immediately try to counterattack him. And so yeah, versus like a really bad Falco, maybe just floating here and naring in is good, but versus even like a somewhat competent Falco, they are going to avoid it. And Yeah, so here he does this short hop away laser. Notice that if you had done this float here into like a fair or something, that would still beat that. Like you would just hit him with the fair. So that's why I think the fair there is really, really good. Let's see what happens here. And it's like I don't usually spend the lesson going over micro situations, but like that is kind of just like this matchup.
No, for sure.
Like, this matchup is very heavily micro-situation based. Okay, you got this. Yeah, this is that bad double jab habit. Like, you just actually... you actually just threw this out and looked the other way, huh?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely just...
So... Yeah, so what you were thinking is you'll hit his shield and then you double jab here. But a better option if you're in this spot anyway is, like, fair single jab and then react. Because if you fair and single jab, that's true shield pressure, and if he shields, you'll be able to react. And I like fair jab grab here is really good, because he's at 119. You'll get the fair jab grab, throw him off stage. If you fair here and you jab and he goes up, then you get to dash under the platform and you get to set up maybe like a dash and then a nair on his landing to send him off stage. Like you could dash nair right here. And in the worst case, you're going to, like, trade out of that. So I think the double jab is something to really watch out for. Just hardcore focus on single jabbing, specifically against Falco. Just, like, just throw it out a lot and see where it's good.
Yeah, just force that habit out.
Mm-hmm. Because that is, like, it's, like, a really big thing. And, yeah, he downs your shield. You grab him. That's really good. Falco needs to get shield grabbed out of bad downers every time. Okay. Yeah, Falco's punish game is really good. Obviously never tech this.
Okay.
Like you can just hold off like the platform and you're totally safe. So yeah, you should just slide that off. You'll never get comboed out of it. He'll eventually stop doing it. Oh, I like that down smash attempt a lot. I think that was really smart by you.
Yeah, I was so mad that didn't hit.
Huh?
I was so mad that didn't hit.
Yeah, no, Peach is so precise. It's very frustrating. Okay, and yeah, how'd you get hit out of this? I just want to take a look. Yeah, this happens. Why did you back air though? Yeah, I think so. The back air was like okay, I guess, but you just like it's very easy to like look at this space and say like I want to react to Falco entering this space, but you really just want to look at Falco and react to him jumping.
For sure.
It's super easy to get caught looking up here, and then when he does something like this, if you don't have the back air out, a lot of times you can just air dodge, and then he'll have committed too heavily, and you'll be able to get down. Oh, and this is that thing I was talking about where like Falco is like, okay, like can I just get the kill? Like he hits you out of this, you're at 138, he strong backers you. You DI it badly, and you're like, I'm coming back. What are you gonna do about it? Okay, good. So these are so close to being perfect. All you have to do right here is air dodge early over here. Like air dodge down at this angle, and you'll always make it back safely. From out of that exact situation. So the thing with the air dodge is like Peach, it's basically good to air dodge in a way where you dodge the opponent's move and then you also ground yourself.
Okay. So
doing like an air dodge like this, and it's not true against it's true against most of the characters, I would say. But like, oh yeah, see, this is what Falco hates. You're at 175, and he's like, just die, and you're like, I don't think I will, and he's really struggling to get you. Let's see, wait, where was that spot where you air dodged back?
I missed it. I accidentally rolled.
Yeah. So when you go for stuff like this, just remember here. This is just something to remember, that you can actually air dodge straight down, and it's actually pretty difficult for him to react to. Like the air dodge to center is good, like in that pass situation where he's coming here, you air dodge like this. But a lot of times people don't expect you to air dodge like right here into the corner. So it's just like a mix-up to keep in mind. And yeah, Falco is hating life right now. And you almost pick up the kill. That was clearly like a missed input, like the roll. I'm almost certain that was a missed input, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
At least I think
And yeah, he kills you at 192, and he's like, finally! And you come back. Okay, you're chasing him. Yeah, that's just pretty normal. Oh, great fair. So yeah, those fairs are really good. The down air. Oh. This is because you drifted in with the down air. You want the down air to be like, right here, like the tip of your down air. So you overcommitted a little bit, and then he hits you, if you notice, because he goes past you.
Yeah.
See, it's just, this is a very tiny situation on the edge guard. It's not a big deal, but like, if you can just space right here instead of like right here, like like an inch backwards, so that the feet hit right here, you would have gotten this.
You almost have to use the stage to protect you, kind of.
You do. No, you do. You want it to be like, I'm here, the stage is protecting me, and then I just kind of put my toe like just right there. And yeah, so this is like another spot where like you recognize here that you are in a great spot because Falco is in the corner, but you also have to recognize that if you recognize that this is a fantastic position and you are excited for, you know, the job opportunities to be a Falco murderer in the corner, that Falco is also terrified and wants to get out of the corner. So most of the time what your goal should be is to prevent Falco from getting out of the corner more so than attacking into the corner. And it's kind of like that whole tech roll back thing. It's like this should be like this should basically be an option that never works for Falco. He should feel like, oh, if I roll out of the corner, Peach is just like ready, and then he has to kind of work his way out. He can try to full hop, but you know, maybe you'll read him. Maybe he tries to full hop, and then you kind of just chase under the plat so you catch his landing. There's ways you can deal with it. This is what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, good float. I noticed that out of the float you fair almost every time, but it's like the fair is when so you just kind of lose this mix-up. It's not really a criticism of you necessarily too much, but if you mix up falling nair here with the fair, it'll still cover a lot of options, and you can cover stuff like this. This isn't like a spot where I'm like, oh, you should have totally naired here. Like, the nair would have been good. It's just the idea that you should mix up the nair here and there with that float fair. Because you're floating to fairs, those are really good. Just got to mix it up a little bit more. Okay, that was really good. Okay, good. Yeah, that'll happen a lot, but it's much better than, like, that happens basically if, like, you're late. I think that probably going backwards here is best, because if you float forwards, your only option is nair, whereas if you float backwards, you have the back air wall, which is like really meaty and strong. And then if he goes a little higher, you can hit him with the back of your nair, whereas like from this position, you're kind of dependent on like him not slightly going over this. It looks like in this case you were just a little late, but it's just like a general suggestion. Because like, I think if you had floated like backwards here, you'd feel like a lot more comfortable maybe. Like if you had just turned around and floated backwards, then you know you have a chance to cover ledge. You can drop a back air on him. If he does this and he up Bs here and you have you're floating right here, you can just float off in back air or float off in reverse nair. So plucking turnips against Falco is okay when he loses a stock, but you're 99.9% of the time you are going to immediately just like drop the turnip and nothing good will come of it. Throwing turnips is generally really bad against Falco. And what is this? Okay. Yeah, I would have probably wave dashed like to like here.
Yeah. Just
to sort of get out of this and sort of, you want to enter into like the mix-up zone, because in truth, he is in more danger right now of dying and losing the game than you are. You're not actually in that much danger. Like, oh, he shined you. Does nothing. Yeah, and you got over-aggressive coming down here with the down air. Way too aggressive. You get hit. He still can't kill you. Then it's so hard to get back against Falco with the umbrella. Like, it's... I hate it. I, like, never make it back. It's really, really tough to trick him. You just kind of have to, like, wait him out and hope he messes up. And, yeah, you overcommit a little bit recovering here. Just stay patient. The more patient you stay... Like, you want to use up your whole float. Don't just commit to this down air hoping he gets hit by it. Just kind of float right here and be like, come on, Falco. I'm feeling pretty weak and vulnerable. And just really hope that he overcommits and then you can sneak past him.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll do the second game. We'll go over that really quick.
That one I threw in the trash can, the second one.
Okay. Well, I think we went over most of like the concepts I want to go over.
Yeah, you can
already
probably point out the little stuff.
But yeah. Okay. Okay. So what happens here? Yeah, you start off going high. Take center. Just take center.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and yeah, look at it. You get into this position right here where he's shooting these high lasers. This is so good for you because you're like, let's go, buddy. So he hits you with this laser here. But, like, this is still great for you. This is not bad for you at all. This is the single jab. This is the position where you single jab. This single jab here, it legit just wins. Like, it wins.
Okay, cool.
It's really bad against Fox because his shine is huge and he'll just run in and you jab him and he shines you anyway. And you're like, are you kidding me? Bowser shine. But versus Falco, if you jab him here and he lands right here, his shine can't hit you. It's like my jab senses are tingling right now. This is the perfect, like, right here, just bam, free grab, free everything, time of your life. Yeah. The down air is okay. You might have messed up on this or something, but it happens. Okay, good. Yeah, this is greedy, but this is a small detail. Like, this is like, there's no way you're gonna make it to him in time. This is 100% a tech chase, but you got a little greedy. It's okay. That's just a slight, like, misidentification of situations does happen. Great forward air. Super good read. And yeah, look at like what happens when you pull a turnip. It feels super good, but then you're like, oh, I need to throw it, and he's like lasering you, and you're like, oh, do I throw it now and like open myself up to like other option? If it's like I said, it's fine to pull the turnip as long as you're content. Just like, unless Falco does something very silly, you're gonna just drop it and pretend you never pulled it. So yeah, but it's not bad to pull them because you might get stitches, you might get bombs or laser sword or Mr. Saturn. Those are all really good. So just be comfortable dropping it. Okay, what happens here? Okay, he catches you. Yeah, right here. Fountain is so awkward. I would just roll back here. Okay. He's at 0. Even if you hit him with a nair or something, he's just gonna like CC you. I would just roll away. A big part of this matchup is like recognizing, like, you're like, situation is good, situation is at 40%, and then you're like trying to move around, you're like, okay, situation is even better, situation is at 80%, and then something goes a little bit wrong, and you just have to be like, okay, abort, like, just reset it, do the whole thing again, but this time do it right, because if you don't do everything exactly in the right spot and exactly in the right order, Peach has no options and just loses. It's very frustrating, but okay, you missed the shielder up back here, it's okay. Okay? Yeah, so this wave dash back is okay here because he is doing this and you kind of saw that he was going to like wall an aerial. So you just like sort of correctly respond to this, I think. Okay, good to hold shield here. This was very smart of you. This was so good. To hold shield right there. Oh, I would have legit gotten hit by this. This was very, very good hold shield. Okay, really good. So this is definitely a mix-up. right here, and I know you just got him with the double jump in a second ago, but like after this range, the double jump back here is so much more powerful.
Okay.
I like the double jump back here just works so well because you get punishes on so many things he does, and he has no way to actually hit you for it. Like the double jump back float, it's completely safe, and you open up ways that he could potentially like hurt himself. So it's just like a great spot to be in. Okay, you catch him with that. He's kind of letting you get away with the wave dashes a lot. Yeah, the backwards, facing backwards there worked out really well for you.
I can't believe I lost this game. Ugh.
Oh. It happens. But now you have a much better game plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and this is just like rage. You're like, why Fountain betray me? The reason I hate this stage with Peach is because the platforms like randomly betray you, where they'll just be at like bad heights for Peach. I hate that. And yeah, so you just run off. You're just a little too greedy, and then get a little greedy coming back. Okay, this is good. Yeah, this is like, so this is so close to being good. Like this is totally good. But then when you're here, you remember ground yourself before you play the mix-up. So like right here, if you had done this and then immediately just landed right here and then played this mix-up, it's great. But you played the mix-up from the air, of like you're taking all this space from the air, and then this opened up, you know, something bad. And it could have gone bad for you in like a lot of different ways. Okay, good tech chase. Good tech. Oh, that happens. Okay, you slightly miss, get caught out. Okay, that happens. I think facing backwards here is still better. Okay, yeah. Stuff like this. This is like what it should feel like when you lose the mix-up of. Also, the wave dash back here in the corner isn't super good. You did it a couple times and it worked out, but like those positions were slightly different. Okay, this wave dash is fine. Never mind. It's okay. There were other options you could do. See, shields. He hits you with this. Yeah, everything just worked out, unfortunately for you. I would just keep holding shield there. What's he gonna do? Grab you? Once again, you did the mix-up without being grounded. Okay. Good job facing backwards on the edge guard. You almost got it. Okay, that was good. Okay. And yeah, once you're here, yeah, throwing the, it's just not going to get you a lot. Yeah, and you just remember, it's like if it's not in the list, if it's not in the list of like 3 things, just don't do it. Because like in this spot where you're here and you're like, oh, he's right here, maybe this angle. Nope, this isn't a real angle. Only these specific angles that we talked about are actually worth playing. This is never worth playing ever. It's just literally it will never work a single time in your whole life. And yeah, Falco has really, really dumb combos on Peach. So he evens it up. Good. Really good. Okay, missed the tech chase. It happens. Okay, approaching from a bad angle, but it works out for you. This isn't part of the angles that are allowed. He could have just easily done anything except for this, and it would have been bad for you. Okay, but this happens. This happens. It's hard to tell you to up air here because you're like afraid of it. I think, but basically the nair here is like, you know he's gonna be survival DIing, so if you up air, you get some free damage. And if you weak back air, you know you're gonna get weak back air nair because there's no way he doesn't survival DI this. So the nair is like not bad, but it's the option that everyone will expect here.
And he knew I was gonna cover low right here, like I did first stock, so he just goes high and I don't cover. Like I do every time.
That makes sense, but also I don't blame you for covering low here. I think this is probably the best option. It's just a pure mix-up. Oh, and then he just stupid Falco combos on Peach. I hate Falco combos on Peach. They're like way too overpowered. Okay, you're fighting too much from the air here. Okay, you're back down the ground. You're chasing him a little too much. Remember, set up the positions. The very few positions that are actually worthwhile. Those are all you want to set up. Okay. Oh. Oh, that was so scary. Okay, you get the nair.
No.
Good job holding shield. It's really important to know when to
I
keep
can't believe
holding
that
shield.
clanked. Ugh.
Yeah, you were just too late.
I know.
So, do you know the way that... So, basically, Falco's side B only clanks when the opponent is late.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to clank if you're on time.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, now he goes to the ledge. Ah! Oh, that's so scary. My little peach heart can't take it. Oh! Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Alright, that was just crazy. That was crazy. That had nothing to do with, like, the matchup necessarily. That was just, like, an insane ending to the match.
I know.
Wow.
It was rough.
Yeah, that must have been frustrating. I understand. But, now, armed with this new information of how to play it, I think you'll actually just bop this guy if you apply it.
For sure.
Alright, closing thoughts.
I just need to focus a lot more on, like, playing it like super, just looking for my opening for the mix-up and not forcing it and recognizing, like, just like you said, like, okay, abort. Like, this approach did not work. I need to start over. And then I'm almost giving Falco, I'm giving Falco too much respect when I have my mix-ups. I'm too scared of down air or whatever.
Right, because he's more scared of you there.
Exactly, like you said, who beats Peach up close? Not really anyone.
Yeah,
so,
nobody.
So if I go to like you said, like, this is kill Falco time, and I think I'm gonna get a lot more mileage.
Yeah, so there's that. Not fighting out of the air. Single jab is a really big one.
Yeah, I need to get rid of that.
Facing backwards for the edge guards.
What's the best way to turn around? Just roll, or like just dash back real quick?
Yeah, just like literally like, because normally you're gonna do like a nair or something like to cover the instant side B. Like you'll do a quick nair and then just like hold back after the nair to like turn around in place and then float back or whatever. Yeah, stay grounded during your mix-ups. It's okay. I don't think I actually saw you crouch like a single time.
Yeah.
Like crouch is surprisingly good because it's really good against laser. Just remember that Falco, if Falco wants to hit you with his moves, he has to put himself at risk of your moves, with the exception of laser, and that's why you want to mitigate laser with crouch, with floating over it. But yeah, I think that's actually pretty much like what we went over. If you are having trouble implementing it, I would definitely suggest you rewatch the lesson, because we kind of went over like a lot of small things that aren't necessarily as easy to condense into like, you know, a general rule or whatever. But there are definitely like the general rules. I think you know now. So anyway,
sure.
it was good talking. Good
All
luck
right.
learning the matchup. If you have any extra
appreciate it.
questions, just let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
And all right,
you.
have a good one.
You too.